These days, more and more developers are mindful of accessibility. Colorblindness is one of those accessibility issues that, thanks to the internet, has gained more awareness over recent years to developers and gamers alike. And there's a lot to be learned from the criticisms of titles who've made it difficult for colorblind gamers to enjoy a game. That is, without having to sacrifice anything in the process. Now for context, for those of you who are not colorblind, here is what it looks like to people who are. There are 3 different kinds of colorblindness, which prevents those inflicted by it from seeing colors like green, red, or blue, meaning color-coded mechanics in games can be a pain in the you-know-what to differentiate from background colors, which can become muted and bleed in with other tones. As you can see, a lot is lost. Today we are counting down the top 10 video games that you can play colorblind. These are games that have gone out of their way to provide colorblind settings and modes that go beyond a colorblind color correct or filter. The developers behind them have either considered how to make their title more accessible by using less color signifying icons and mechanics, or they've included plenty of settings that allow all 3 kinds of colorblind to better see, play, and ultimately enjoy their games. So with that in mind, let's get to it. Starting us off in at number 10, Grand Theft Auto 5. Now Grand Theft Auto 5 isn't perfect, but after GTA 4 came out and got a lot of heat for certain puzzles that were impossible for some colorblind individuals to distinguish, despite using icons and symbols rather than color signifiers, Rockstar learned their lesson. When Rockstar released GTA 5, colorblind players noticed more thought put into making the title more accessible. This made it easier to distinguish parts of missions and see different things on the map. The one downside though is that parts of Los Santos, when you go off-road, are filled with a lot of foliage that can blend into each other. Luckily, not too many missions require you to venture out into the unknown like that, but it does take away from part of the experience. Moving on to number 9, Dota 2. Multiplayer online battle arena game Dota 2 offers a colorblind mode that some have praised. It changes a few features. The health bar is a different color that is different from the mana color. It enables the ability to toggle the minimap to depict hero icons instead of colors. It enables the ability to alter the map background to a more neutral gray-blue color. And with town portal scrolls, which are usually spotted by the skill color, the mode changes them to have a transparent statue of the hero that is being rendered, so you no longer have to rely on the color. Moving on to number 8, League of Legends. League of Legends has a colorblind mode that makes the game more accessible for those who have trouble seeing red and green. This mode will transform the colors of various indicators to blue instead, and stands out more against the game's green rift. The health bars can be changed to yellow instead of green as well, but it hasn't avoided criticisms. Now some players have noted that the game sometimes mixes purple and blue textures together that make it harder to see, since colors that are similar in tone can sometimes blend together too much and get lost. And at number 7, Perfect Dark Zero. While there have been a lot of efforts made in recent years to be more inclusive to colorblind players, many games of the past have offered poor colorblind modes or settings, or just flat out didn't have any accessibility options at all. But one game that defied that trend in the past was Perfect Dark Zero. Released in 2005, this first-person shooter developed by Rare offered multiple different colorblind modes, with the ability to adjust the intensity of certain colors so that they were more distinct, or change the colors altogether. While the game may have struggled in other aspects, it was praised for how much thought was put into these settings. And at 6, Destiny. Colorblindness might only affect a small percentage of the population, but that percentage is still large enough that many individuals will lose out on catching important information in a game that's been color-coded. This is why many developers are learning to ensure that no essential information is conveyed by a fixed color. Destiny is one of those titles. It offers an array of color palettes to serve the different kinds of color blindnesses. There are presets, alternative palette options for UI elements, which feature previews so players can actually test them out to see how the colors look to them before they jump into the game. Moving on to number 5, Red Dead Redemption 2. Rockstar really did take the hint from its past experiences with inaccessible color mechanics, because one of the developer's most recent titles, the rootin' tootin' gunslinging and shootin' Red Dead Redemption 2, yes, I just said that, is one of the most accessible titles for colorblind players in their roster of games yet. The title offers 3 different colorblind mode options for players, which makes it easier to navigate the foliage and heavy terrain of this western hit. And these modes were available right off the bat rather than an afterthought released as part of a game update. While some fans did criticize the choice of colors used in these modes, particularly one of the mode's pink menus, others were just happy that they weren't missing out on completing missions. Pink does seem kind of weird though in the grand scale of Red Dead 2. And at number 4, Splatoon. The 2015 Nintendo third-person shooter Splatoon is one of the gaming giant's most recent popular franchises. Now, it features a setting called Color Lock. This gives players the option to change team colors to light orange and to dark blue. As described by the game itself, the setting allows you to, I quote, lock the ink colors to specific combinations for the benefit of players who have difficulty distinguishing certain colors. Moving on to another Nintendo title, in at 3, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. When it first came out, the Nintendo Switch was criticized by some for lacking in the accessibility department, particularly when it came to colorblind folks. Since though, Nintendo has released a handful of titles seemingly more aware of this, like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Rated as a favorable barrier-free title for many different kinds of disabilities, the latest in the Smash Bros. Franchise includes a very large settings menu that allows players to get really specific and detailed. For example, you can change the rule sets to adjust difficulty, remove items that are more difficult to see, choose specific stages that are easier to see, etc. In addition to that, it doesn't use sound or color to indicate anything important, and players have the option to change the colors of their chosen fighter with an array of different skins. Now, if you want to play in teams, you can also choose which color the team indicators will be, and there is a solid variation too. Compared to its predecessors, it is by far the most accessible Smash game ever made. Moving on to number 2, Battlefield 4. Battlefield 4 has long been a title praised for its colorblind accessibility. It changes the colors of essential visual indicators, making it easier for colorblind gamers to see. And it doesn't just slap a filter over the entire game either. It adjusts details like the UI elements related to your squad, enemies, and team. And because some players might not know exactly what kind of colorblind they are, it provides general and easy to understand instructions for how to approach their settings. I quote, if colorblind, choose the team colors that differentiate the most among each other. And last but not least, in at number 1, The Outer Worlds. The recent release, The Outer Worlds, lands our top spot because it was actually designed and developed with colorblindness in mind. This is because one of the game's directors, Tim Kaine, has near monochromacy colorblindness. The game doesn't have a colorblind mode because it was designed to be playable without color information, using other kinds of indicators instead. The Outer Worlds is a fantastic game. It is so well written, and from its companions to its combat to its dialogue and other inclusivity stuff too, it's overall a shining example of what an open world RPG should be striving for. There's a lot developers can take away from it in terms of learning how to be more accessible, not only for those who are colorblind, but in other inclusive ways as well, that we will not mention because they are story spoilers. Trust me, this is a title that you'll want to check out. I'm personally obsessed. It is really fun. Alright, there we have it, friends. If you were colorblind, what other games have you found to be more inclusive with their colorblind modes or settings? What games have totally dropped the ball? And for those of you who are not colorblind, were you shocked to find out how different video games can look to those who are? Give us a shout in those comments below and share your thoughts with us. If you dug this video, spread that love, hit that thumbs up button, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Gaming if you want to hang out with us some more. We've also got a playlist floating around somewhere on your screen with more videos that might tickle your fancy. In the meantime though, thanks for watching, friends. I'll catch you all in the next video.